Cheers, everybody. Welcome to your favorite Friday night hashcast. It's Variables with your hosts, me, Superior Buds, and tonight we got Pedro here, and we'll have Fagroli joining us here shortly.
Your buds.
Whoa, that was myself talking. How's it going tonight, man?
I emergency had to shut down all the other live streams that were going, but I am medicated. I'm doing pretty good. Like I told you, I took some edibles. I don't know, like 3 o'clock, and I haven't been taking a lot of them recently. And man, do they punch me!
Man, how strong of an edible do you take?
I don't, get my stuff tested, obviously, but if I had to guess, it was probably in the 300-400 range. So pretty hefty for me, honestly. Yeah, I greened out. Last week, I think it was. I took one late at night, and it took forever to process. And the next day, I was dead to the world, dude. I mean, I slept for too long. It was really interesting. But I'm doing good. Daughter's, like I was telling you, daughter's got a little bit of a cold coming on, and a little neighbor girl. So I got a little bit of a sniffles and a little stuffy, and running the humidifier upstairs when I can. And
yeah, that is critical during the winter when you're running. You get so dry, and I imagine you get dry anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think the relative out here is in the 20s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's tough.
Is that year round then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much. We don't really have tons of storms that come through. We live in this valley, and it's just different than the rest of Colorado.
Its own little weather system, right?
Yeah. If it says we're going to have 60% chance of rain, it's not going to rain. We don't get rain unless it's in the 70s.
So with your grow, then you got to pretty much seal up and hold humidity.
It's freaking tough.
Yeah.
I have an evaporative cooler in there, 6-gallon evaporative cooler, and I don't have it hooked up to the float yet. Floats always just scare me, dude. It just
you got to get a good float. Those I went through a lot of them, and those little tiny cheapo ones, the $2 ones, they work, but when they fail, they're gonna fail.
Yeah, it's the one that's in the unit, so I'd have to go in and take it out, and it seems like a really nice one, and 6 gallons usually gets me about 3 days. So it's about time to check the grow.
My I think it's Active Air, my humidifier I've had for 10 years.
Yeah.
The big industrial one. It's got an internal float. It's like, those built-in ones are usually pretty solid. It's the aftermarket Amazon ones that you got to watch out for.
Just trusting in something like that always makes me a little nervous. But I'll say while we're chatting and whatnot tonight, we really don't have much of a plan. So if anybody in chat has any direct questions, we can open it up and just go where the hell.
Yeah, and I've got a fun unboxing. I actually have not even opened the box yet of the new AC Infinity 9-inch oscillating tent fan.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
I got to get in touch with them. I'm sponsored by them, and I haven't heard about much of this recent shit. So, especially from them.
I was trying to figure it out. It's either the 3rd or 4th iteration of their oscillating tent fans. They're doing some pretty good things. There's a YouTube channel, Garden Gear Supply, I believe. They've done some teardowns of all the oscillating tent fans, and seeing the internals is pretty eye-opening.
Is it?
Yeah. The difference is dramatic. There's your price difference. If you ever want to know why the price difference, watch the videos.
Sure.
The second iteration of the AC, I'm still running the first iteration. Mine haven't failed. I have no clicking. Haven't had any problems, and they've ran nonstop for ever since they came out. I don't know when they came out.
Dude, I've got my same exhaust fans hooked up since. I've never had one fail.
Yeah,
never had one fail.
Their AC Infinity. I mean, that's what they did for a long time before grows was fans.
Sure. I don't have any remote control, you know,
Mhm.
when I'm out, I can't change anything. I think they have upgraded units that do that, but
I've got like 3 different interfaces for the AC Infinity fans.
cool,
Yep.
cool.
The
And
original one that had no remote control, like you
sure.
said.
And I still run the Pulse units. They've got
Hmm.
multiple different units. Last I knew, they had 3 different sizes, essentially just the standard one, more of a pro version one where it actually reads light,
Mhm.
and then I got a real small one, real small one, for like my small little veg and clone tents and whatnot.
I still swear by my sensor push units.
There you go.
These are super. Actually, I was just going to say that, Grateful. Yeah, they released new moisture moisture sensors. They're trying to be diplomatic here about this. It's nice to have a sensor. The sensor they chose is going to disappoint a lot of people.
Also,
It's I look at it like there's like 3 tiers of sensors, and that's basically tier 1. It's going to tell you, is it wet or is it not wet? It's not going to allow you to do true drybacks and stuff like people are seeing with the more expensive sensors and the
what is it? What is it monitoring? The room?
no, it's actually a soil moisture sensor.
That's what I was asking. That was
Yeah,
my next.
so it's just an electrical contact sensor, and it's I don't know how long they've chosen, but it's so long, and there's little electrode points there, and if it's wet enough, contact will be made. So
Sure.
it can tell you how deep your pot is wet.
That would be valuable information using a SIPS container.
Yeah, for sure. There's
a lot of the
definite
times when I
uses.
water with the SIPS containers, and I got to update these videos, but I water a lot from the top anymore. You know, I'll water from the bottom when I feel it needs it, you know, but I've had, as you can look back at my videos, I've had lots of problems with overwatering in the reservoir, and yeah, it's not a pretty thing when that happens. So
right, it's definitely a soil moisture sensor, and it's for like exactly what you're talking about. It's moisture depth more than it is percentage, which is what like Bango here said, you know, the higher end sensors are, and I don't have one up here. I thought I did, but I don't.
I
But
had a cheap.
the 3-prong versus the 5-prong sensors, that's where you start getting into, you can measure cocoa and you can measure EC of the media as well as your moisture level, and they're way more accurate than this is just, but it's got its use, right? And it's going to be very useful for people that are running in soil that want to be a little bit more automated. They have the smart plugs. So you tie in a smart plug that times your pump with the moisture sensor that they're using and the AI controller, and you've got auto watering. So without much work. So for a starter system, I think it's great. It's going to help a lot of people.
I had a cheapo, it was about 12 inches long and just red moisture, and I just from my outdoor beds, this is, I would just rudimentary go around and stab, you know. I had an automated watering system to the point in which I had to turn it on, but it watered everything itself. But the nice thing about being outside is I was using the grassroots fabric pots. I think they were 3x3s, and the plants, the roots go right through it.
I was gonna say, yeah, we did the fabric pots just out in our little mini grove here, and all the freaking roots went right through. And man, you go to move those fuckers, and all of a sudden you're like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
they're not moving. But the nice thing is you can start skipping watering days. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the fabric pots outside. I'm not a big fan of the plastic pots. I like the air pruning.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a SIPS container grow outside. It just, there's too many variables to get fucked up with it, and I think it would be too hands-on, and I think the plants would outgrow the container, and there would be just a lot of problems with it.
Yeah,
Would be a very high maintenance grow.
I've been debating if I'm going to do sips in the greenhouse or if we're just going to drip feed. Cheers, man.
Greenhouse being totally sealed, controlled greenhouse.
Yes.
I would assume so with you.
Yes. Yep.
What's up for Girly?
How we doing, guys?
Good, man. You're mobile, I hear.
Looks like you
Very
got some
much
fun.
so.
Oh, dude, what's this?
Oh man.
Just a fun little camera setup. We're doing some active tracking.
Send it to me. I feel like I could use one right now. I know. I don't know why all of a
bought the
sudden
wife,
it went off. But
the little gimbal that has the auto tracking. Who is it by? I forget the name.
DJI.
I gotta.
No, not the DJI one. That one's cool. I just saw their new one. Was it today? They released a new one.
They released the Mini Ronin 4, I think it's called, and that's the gimbal for the DSLR camera. I'm actually just using their Pocket 3 right now, which is its own gimbal camera and screen and everything. It's just set up on a tripod, and I tried active tracking for the first time. I think I actually used this camera once before on a mobile stream with, I think it was with you guys. But I don't think I used the active tracking thing, and it's actually working pretty good. It's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, the wife was testing it out, and the dog or the kids, they're just too quick so far. We haven't quite figured it out.
Yeah. So it's funny too, because some of the drones are the same way. They're making these drones that are like made for like vlogging and selfies and stuff like that, and that'll like follow you if you're walking or if you're on like a scooter or a skateboard or something. But the second you like get in a car and actually start driving, it's like, good luck.
Yeah. I really, really wanted to buy a drone and have it chase me in the Razor. But then the original versions, they're like, well, it's not really good at dodging branches. And I'm like, well, it's probably not for me then.
Yeah, they've come a long way, but still, like in the wintertime, it's gonna it's gonna catch it. So I would go with like an FPV drone. Well, here's the thing, they've already got approval for this, but they haven't announced it or released it yet. But they're coming out with a beacon essentially, and it's like this palm, like almost like a mini remote, and that will act as not only a controller but also as a guide to
point of focus.
Yes. So then
that's
you can
cool.
Your Razor or whatever, and as long as you set it to the height and distance behind you, and you give yourself enough buffer room or whatever, it will actually follow you probably pretty accurately. But yeah, sorry to barge into the conversation. You guys are talking some sort of tech, some sensors or something?
Oh yeah, AC Infinity released a new soil moisture sensor.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I didn't dig too deep into it, but what do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
It's got its use. Definitely has its use. More for soil. It's not I think there's going to be a lot of confused people that think it can crop steer.
Okay.
And they're going to realize it's not that. It's a very different use case. But it's cool. I mean, it's a good first step. I love that they're doing more. It makes their AI controller way more valuable. They've got smart plugs now, and then they have soil moisture. You have auto watering now. So you go from changing it from it's no longer just a sensor, it's now a controller. Before it was an environmental controller, but it was not a watering controller. Now it can be an actual automated water. Before you could do, I use AC Infinity. Yep, I do recirculating timers for my veg tent.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously I'm mobile right now, and that's what I've got going on. I'm using the Trollmaster smart outlets, and just have them set up to the program mode to turn on for, well, one of them's for like a minute and 10 seconds or something like that, and that's the table side, and that table side doesn't have any drippers on it, so it goes much faster. So I only need about a one minute shot, about a 70-second shot every day. Whereas the other ones are on drippers, and that's because I had to split the lines, right? So instead of just using as many outlets as I have on my FluoroFlex manifolds, which is 8, I'm splitting it up into like 13. Oh, Kendall Jackson, there you go, some Pinot Noir. I'm splitting this 8 up into like 13 different plants, and I could try to regulate that with flow, even flow and everything by making the lines the right size or the equal lengths and doing all this math or whatever. But it's easy just to put a dripper on there and limit it to whatever that dripper is. And so because of the limitation of the dripper and how slow it is, but also because the fact that they're all now getting evenly watered, I can turn it up and just dial it up to, I think it's like 12 minutes or something. So those drip are about 12 minutes.
Which drippers are you using?
No, don't ask me that. I don't know. It's whatever ones that are still in my line from last time, dude. I could not.
No,
tell you
are
the
they
gallon per hour.
so
They're black and green.
So
are
to interject really quick, Buds, on a serious note, have you ever thought about doing consultations for the geeks that want to do these, set up these automatic controllers? And
I do for large people, not for small.
Why not?
Because my time's expensive.
Good answer. I just wondering why not.
It's real. I mean, 20 years ago, it was $650 an hour to talk to me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
fuck, I'm not even that expensive.
Yeah.
I'm a cheap son of a bitch over here.
But that's tech. I mean, we're talking tech. So
Pedro, you didn't know you're getting billed half of this every episode. This is episode 61, man. We're very much in debt to Superior Buds. That's $1,300 an episode.
Right. I'm a $20 lap dance over here.
No, there's just no money in it for cannabis for me. That's really it. Large operations that want serious consultation, it's a different level of discussions, and I get those connections through my business, not through this really.
I still do a couple consultations every week. Just kind of slide them in, Sunday evening video call or something like that. $50 every half an hour. And I think the longest call that I've ever really been on is, I think I did one that was 2 hours, and then he came back and did another 2 hours. But yeah, do video call, just talk freaking hash and get people set up with what I know.
I get a lot of people that know me through the business world. I'm very upfront about my cannabis use, even in the business world. So people know. And if they decide that that's the route they're going, or if someone says, hey, I got a buddy over here who's going to invest and he's launching a major facility and wants to talk to somebody. Those are the people that sit down and want to hear from me. They're not going to get the cookie cutter stuff. They're going to hear the hard stuff, the business crap, the stuff people will gloss over. I'm not a pie in the sky guy.
Doing it, even if it's expensive but obtainable for the small people, would make you visible to the large people as well.
Yeah, but
because if I had never done any consultations,
but I
wouldn't be where I'm at working right now.
Like, it's hard to explain. It's the time versus money equation,
exactly.
Right?
He's got so much other stuff going on where he's not like in the position where he's trying to start a cannabis consulting business. Not that he couldn't, he absolutely could, especially with that tech side of things. But I just think that'd be like taking some eggs out of a basket. He probably doesn't have the room to take eggs out of,
Well, it also means it's like working at a Fortune 500 as a banker and then at night going and selling pizzas for delivery. It's a very different game.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be
a lot of investment. Like
it would have to be a love type thing to do.
When we did the micro business stuff, that's exactly what it was. It was 100% passion because I couldn't make the P&L work. Right. I could balance it. That's all I could do. I could sit right at the line. Yeah, but you're not making a very comfortable living. And especially, I mean, I'm in a very hard market, right? Seasonality. We had, 2 years of bad snow almost took out half our businesses. So just because it's hard to survive when you lose half your year, basically.
See, I always try to subscribe to the 1 + 1 + 1 is 3, 0 + 0 + 0 0. So besides the subcontracting consulting that I do for Eden. I also do it for myself back here. Also run Heady Vault. And I don't make the same amount of money for each job or business, but again, 1 + 1 + 1. And I still have the sponsors where people are using my discount codes and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, early on in my entrepreneur ventures, it was always multiple eggs in multiple baskets. You got to juggle and you got to have multiple revenue streams. And even to this day, I'm to that point. Thankfully, over the years, I've written a lot of software and software that I call ATM machines because they just run. I don't have to do anything. They exist and they print money. I'm not getting rich off of them. I could survive off just my software projects though.
I would still hint, love to start up a clothing line thing because man, I've got some really good catchy phrases
it's such a weird thing because like we just spent, I mean, the past month has been nothing but mass marketing of my software that I've finally let other people use. We've used it ourselves for 10 years, sold all our stuff. Now it's like, we'll let other people use it. But we're not letting everybody use it. We're only letting people who employ other people who are going to like, so it's a multi-level thing. Like we're not talking to the people that sell the shirts. We're talking to the people that sell the shops to the people that sell the shops. So it's like 2 levels removed from just higher up in the chain.
Just to be blunt and honest, it seems like gatekeeping.
No, it's 100% because you can't compete with the people that we're talking to. I can't be a direct competitor to the people that I'm also selling to. I can't sell to every single company in every single city in every single state. That's what these people do.
So is there ever going to be a point in time, and I'm kind of asking redundant questions.
We do it. I've told you how to do it.
Maybe I don't remember. I'll just ask it out loud.
We have a system that lets you do what you want to do.
So somebody can go in with an idea, print out or order 10, 15, 20 shirts, however, or even I think yours is
one.
What do you call it? Order on demand or
minimum order quantity of 1.
Okay.
Yep.
So there is a way to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to
be
reminded.
I mean, we run like the bulk of my business.
That's how I got my stuff. Like all my Ferroli shirts. Obviously, I'm not wearing one right now. I almost took a Sharpie and wrote Ferroli on this tonight, but it's a brand new shirt.
That would have been awesome.
Maybe not this time, but
yeah, definitely interested. So I need to be reminded.
Yeah, we have systems.
Get the URL out or
no? We have systems, but it takes running a store, and that's what I can't commit to. I can't run a store.
Right.
For you. That's what I can't do.
But you can print the shirts and everything. It's
yeah. You just have to be able to set up the store and run the store.
As in, if you're talking to a dummy, what's the
store? Using our plugin.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have my pedrosgrowroom.com. I could run it through that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Cool.
If you look at superiorbuds.com, my website has the plugin running.
Well, I might have to pay you $650 for an hour to help me out.
But no, that is 100%.
200.
Yeah. You gotta remember it's the time versus money thing. You generally have one or the other. Rarely in your life do you ever have both.
Sure.
When I was younger and I had no money, I had all the time in the world. And so that's why I built all the projects that now make me the money. But now I'm running a big business and I have a kid and I have fucking 6 feet of snow at my windows and it's about to be 40 degrees outside. Like, got a lot of shit going on right now.
It was just like when we had our chickens and our goats and everything. It was just, it was fun and whatnot. And it was trying to be self-sustainable, but the return for the effort was minimal,
Bro, you know how stress free I am right now, not have to wake up and worry about 27 or however many chickens we have, 2 dogs, and 3 rooms full of fucking plants on top of a family. I mean, the family's here, so that's always there. But those other things are taken care of right now, and it's rare that as a farmer you get to experience that. Very, very rare, or as a business owner, or as a lot of different things.
I've actually designed my chicken system to be as hands-free as possible. That's why we do deep litter, so it doesn't stink. We just churn it up once every week, and it never stinks. As long as it doesn't get wet, it doesn't stink. We have a giant feeder that holds a whole bag of food. Pour that in, keep the eggshells fed, keep the giant water full. Got a de-icer in the water so it never freezes.
Right.
So I'm not changing water every day. The water doesn't get dirty because we do nipple feeders.
Yep.
Because that used to piss me off. Every morning you'd have to go out and take the water, and fucking there's shit all in the water.
Yeah, they're sitting on top of it and shit. And
yeah, or they're kicking crap in it, and now they can't get any water. So, so that's why we love those feeders or the waters. But yeah, it's just pretty hands off. Thankfully, the wife has been going out and checking eggs, but I've been tied to the damn computer nonstop all day. So,
do you have an automatic chicken door?
No, we don't let them out in the winter.
Yeah.
So they have an enclosed run.
Turn that off, but
yeah, but they have an enclosed run that has no door on it. So their coop, they can come out of their coop into the enclosed run at any time. There's no, we never close that to them.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Like we even have some of the girls that sleep in the enclosed run. They don't even go up in the coop.
yeah. They probably got kicked out.
Yeah. Well, a couple of them are some of the roosters that are getting ready to go to freezer camp. So, asshole roosters.
How many do you have right now?
Oh gosh, I think I counted the other day. I think it was 5 roosters we ended up with.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
We're almost at like a 50-50 rooster hen ratio.
Holy shit.
Messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yep. And of course we have some of them that are banties, the little bantams are tiny. And then the roosters are a little bit bigger, and then they're taking turns on this poor little tiny girl, and one of them hurt her leg, so she's been in the hospital inside the damn garage for 3 months.
Oh wow.
We actually got to take advantage of our neighbor's rooster. We didn't have to have a rooster in our pen because our neighbor had a rooster.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice because roosters can be assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
And I seem to find out that quite a few people that have their own chickens, generally for eggs, right? Generally end up trying to get rid of their excess because it ends up being quite a bit. Yeah. Oh, you got to be a hell of a fucking egg eater.
Well, I mean, that's like for Girly. I mean, you've got what? Are those all 20 hens?
No, we have 3 roosters. 2 full size, 1 bantam rooster.
And how many eggs are you getting on average a day?
I mean, in summertime, full production, almost 2 dozen.
Yeah.
Not much right now because we're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you sell them or give them away or
both. Yes.
Yeah. I like those old school ones outside of the front of the house where bunch of cartons of eggs and leave what you want and take what you want. And,
we've got fucking zucchini out there and shit. Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of the kind of lifestyle we've chosen is that we have that opportunity to do that. Like legally speaking, it's regulated that we are allowed to have a 24/7 roadside commercial stand. So it's something definitely to take advantage of if that's what you're into.
Yep.
Especially if you grow to excess, if you will.
Our neighbor right across the street spent a whole bunch of money last summer building out a stand and putting all this stuff up, and it's so new fluffy butt farm, and it looks like a little TikTok type of stand, right?
Came from downstate.
Totally. He moved up here from downstate, got chickens, and built a stand. And I'm like looking at the wife, like, should we put our free egg sign out again?
Yeah.
And actually, we have what's called a hen light. So it uses a solar panel to check when the sun rises and sets. and
Mm.
automatically adds daylight to the beginning of the day. So they still get a normal sunset, so they'll go to bed properly. But what happens is I hear my roosters at fucking 2 a.m.
Oh, geez. Okay.
because they need 16 hours of daylight
Yeah.
to lay eggs. So nice.
Nice.
He's
One-
got he has some really cool drops here in Michigan right now.
BC Bubba Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to take a side stroll real quick.
Let's do
I
it.
got an email I think it was this last weekend from Marcus getting invited to this Sunday's Hash Church Hash Rosin episode. So
Nice.
there's
Oh, yeah.
people that I've seen so far that have been invited that I don't know who's all confirmed. Is like Rackham's, Nicotee, Gendo, quite a few big names. I don't know who's all confirmed, but all episodes can be a flop, but this one seems like it could be a hell of a fucking episode for a lot of my followers, in the in the solventless industry. And it's going to be interesting because like Gendo, there's hash lovers, dirty rosin, and did you see? I don't know if you guys saw that post last
I
week.
did. That was enjoyable. I got the popcorn up for it.
It wasn't as abrasive as I had hoped it was, but that's okay. But it should be fun to have
Yeah, he'll have
the
Papa
different
Sift on.
sides.
Yeah, Papa Sift is who does his Michigan stuff.
I push a lot of buttons out there, and I think people kind of think that, like, that's my belief. But a lot of times I post them, number one, to push a little bit of buttons, but number two, there ends up being a lot of information hidden in there if people aren't assholes. Well, sometimes even if they are, but there truly ends up being quite a bit of information that gets shared, maybe unintentionally, usually unintentionally. But if people were to go through and just peruse the comments, there's a good chance that you can learn a thing or two. But it is fun poking buttons.
Pull up the comments, maybe superior. I'd normally do this, but working off of a laptop without a mouse is pretty much impossible to do that with no second screen right now. So forgive me.
We're trying to bring up
Your Instagram post in the comments, so maybe we can learn a thing or two.
Oh, yeah, Buds, you'll be way better at that. I went through. They're all about the same, like, visual. What do you call it? Thumbprint. That's not the word. Thumbnail. So if you go down a little while, I don't know, 20 posts or so, there's quite a few other ones that were questionably more controversial, and a lot of comments, a lot of back and forth. Like I said, a lot of arguing as well, but if you can get by that and just take it for what it is, there's a lot of knowledge there too.
Yeah, I'm lost in all this. I don't know where it's at.
I can maybe try to find it. On that
You
note,
have to see the new Rosin Evolution bags.
I did. I shared them. I don't know if I want to say prematurely, but I have not played with them yet. I will. So I really don't have much of an opinion on it right now.
Everything about it looks great. For me, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, they're fucking expensive for any home washers, but super cool to see more innovation in that stuff. Ooh.
Sorry, I'm looking back at my post here.
I'm curious to know what makes them innovative. We got
The bags?
up a little bit higher. Cloud.
To be honest, so here's the fun thing is I actually, towards the beginning of my sponsorship and whatnot, got into an argument with one of the manufacturers that made these vinyl sides. I don't know that these are vinyl, but they made these vinyl side bags. And for me, the way I was washing and kind of the way I still do, having the full mesh allows me to move more water and use more of the bag as a sieve. So I guess I got to ask Dave a little more about why these are different, because I don't have that answer and I really should.
Fan's a monster.
What kind of wattage are we talking about on this thing?
Well, it's an EC motor with variable speed, so it depends on how fast it runs. And using the AI Plus controller, it will control it automatically.
Well, it's the
So-
best I could do right now is send that to you on Instagram, because I'm not a techie,
Hold on a sec.
but it is in your messages. And that's just basically to that first controversial post. They can search through from there.
I actually haven't looked at their heaters yet. I've seen people running them for tents, and it's awesome. I still run the old, what is it? The old oil heaters. Because it's, I mean, when it's winter here, it's always cold here. So I run those in the garage. But yeah, that little tent heater they have is pretty awesome too. AC Infinity's coming out with some really cool crap.
Yeah, I definitely I have to get back in touch with them, because I am starting to grow back up. It's a good time to get in touch with them. And yeah, we've just kind of lost touch over the years. A lot of my medical problems and whatnot over the last couple of years, the divorce and whatnot, is taking up a lot of my time. So
first thing I notice on this clamp is actual metal, and it is much stronger than the other clamp.
well, that's always nice.
Okay, nice.
The way
It's
it
a
grips is
different
really
angle.
nice.
That's what she said.
I still wish I
Um,
could figure out how to share this.
I do believe they said it would, but it would be manual reads. I don't know that it has the control, except if it's on the AI. So I have 2 of these now for my 5x5 and 2 of
Nice.
the 6 inches.
Are they oscillating?
Yeah. Full oscillation and metal gears now internal.
What's the price tag on that one?
I don't actually remember.
Oh.
So
You know, having
Maybe-
just typed in this Mr. Rosin's neighborhood on IG, there's a lot more people that think I'm just gone, because there's the Pedro's Grow Room is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do still have a pedros.grow.room, which I always said I should work on a little more, but it'd be more recognizable. But
Just cross promote, you know what I mean? Make sure people are following you on both. That way you can have a backup as well.
I try to. This is what I'm saying. There's lots of people in the industry that don't have the tech knowledge, and not even needing the level of tech knowledge that Buds can provide. But I feel like there's a market for consultations on being a little more techy, being able to show people how to use some of these things. What is it? Oh no, hell no, that's not bad at all.
Oh yeah, I was my guess would have been over under $100. So being $30 under 100 is pretty nice.
yeah, I gotta say they're priced well, right? None of their stuff seems expensive. I have an AC Infinity fan that runs my fireplace, and I love that damn thing. It moves 3 times the amount of air that the previous fan moved, and it's silent now. Oof.
Kind of trying to understand that. Seems like there's a lot
Finding
of
your first
variables.
client. Finding your first client's always the hard part when it comes to consulting.
Yeah. Are we talking about consulting, or are we talking about starting your own thing, or are we talking about consulting across the board?
It's a lot there.
Or are we talking about, yeah, see, it sounds like to start their own thing, grow lab consulting, which is a fucking mouthful, and then finding good owners that won't be a dead end. I mean, that's a completely different thing. I mean, uncannabis related for the most part.
So you got to look at the previous comment as well along with this.
Oh, what's
that helps.
This one here? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, realistically, it's kind of the rough part about not being in an ownership position. You've got to find the right person to work for, and get out as soon as you get your red flags.
And Bongo Boy, advertising, just like any other business, you know, you've got to get your name out there. You've got
to network.
Yep, you've got to have references, i.e., people that you've helped in the past. Otherwise, nobody's going to hear about anybody.
But even more so than that too, is showing your face. So events, social gatherings.
Absolutely. I mean, all of that's part of advertising.
Yep. Walking up and picking up the literature at every freaking trade booth and reading it and talking to the person behind the booth. You may never need HVAC, but there may be a day when that HVAC guy has someone who needs to grow, someone with experience.
Share your rosin, share your flower, share your product at these shows. Just let them know who you are. Maybe have a card, maybe have a sticker, you know. And unfortunately, I mean, with me, my God, if I thought over the years how much I've given away for this and for just giving it away, it's holy shit. You know, you just got to drop jars at places, and that's where, unfortunately, the stickers do come in handy.
Personal branding.
But yeah, it is.
If that's what you're trying to do, right?
If that's what you're trying to do,
you know, if you're trying to be like a Nika T, right? Where when someone's like, oh, whose name pops in, you know, you've got certain people and that pop up, and that's, you want to be that guy. That's personal branding.
And that's the other variable would be A, being good at what you do, and B, doing it as long as he has done. And look at how much he's advertised over the years. You know, if you go to look at one of his story posts, there's fucking 30 of them a day, you know.
Yep.
He goes and DJs at events. He talks on panels. He's well known. He's actually a really fucking nice guy. I was just thinking this today, as a matter of fact. I saw him at the Build a Soil Days Cup up in Grand Junction here in Colorado, and I think I forgot to give him a fucking jar. I helped him carry his goddamn music equipment to his vehicle in the rain, but I think I forgot to give him a fucking jar. Like, dumbass. You just gotta.
It's the best business card is your fucking concentrate in a jar, your flour in a bag, you know what I mean? It's absolutely. I mean, and here's my best advice, Bongo Boy, is quit asking people for advice, because I think what you're trying to do is find the shortcut to finding success, and there is no shortcut. The way to be successful, the best way to be successful, is doing all the things you don't want to do, because all the other people that are doing the same thing as you are also thinking the same thing, and they're actually not going to go do those things. So go out, hit the ground, hit the pavement, go do the fucking cold calling and the you know, all those things that like don't sound very exciting, and just do it over and over again, because not only will you build your experience, you'll be able to define your own worth, and it only takes 1%, we'll call it success rate, to really be successful. So think about it this way: every 100 people you try to sell your rosin to or whatever, it really only takes one person out of those 100 to create some success, because like what we've been talking about, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And sometimes it's just that one connection that makes everything. And so 1% might not sound like a lot, but that 1% can change everything and turn it into 100% really quick.
Yeah.
And I would definitely recommend being real, being yourself. Trying to play a character and then going back to yourself, and it's way easier, way more organic, way more attractive if you're just yourself all around. You know, you just got to put yourself out there, which is hard to do sometimes.
It's not glamorous.
Yeah, it's just like in any business when you're wanting to move up. I've had over 3 times the number of failures in business than I have successes. 20 some of my companies just flat out failed. They didn't make any money and you had to shut them down, but I had 6 wins. You just got to keep grinding. It's any business. You have to out hustle your competitors, your competition. And right now,
work ethic is so fucking important, dude.
Right now, everybody wants to be working in cannabis. I'm actually thankful I'm not at this point. Like it's kind of a relief to just be able to do it for fun still, and still have everything around that I need and want, but I don't have the stress of it. Yeah, there's a lot of stress that comes with a growing industry. I
was gonna say an emerging industry. Market.
Yeah. And it's competitive as all hell. Everyone knows there's a lot of money to be made. And so it's a green rush. Everyone wants in.
Yeah.
I was kind of lucky in that, I'd done a lot of different techniques to get to rosin kind of early on in the game. And man, there's some funny ones when I thought back to it. But I was really lucky with that Build a Soil video. I really lucked out with that because I think it's approaching 800,000 some views. And I get recognized by that probably more than anything, which reminds me, I need to go back, and I watched it the other night, and crazy story behind that, but I watched it the other night, and there are so many things that I would recommend to change from that video. So I think I want to go down and watch the video. Maybe make it like a 3-part episode where I watch the video, pause it. I don't think I should do this live. I think I should pre-record it. Watch the video, pause it, and point out the things that I now do different, or because man, there was a lot of things. I was actually going through, not necessarily teaching someone, but kind of. And yeah, there was so many questions and so many things that I saw that I was like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't think there's anything in my grow or processing that has stayed the same more than 6 months.
I've stayed, I wouldn't say the same because you're always learning things, but my changes have been mostly minute, but very significant. I guess when you learn something and it works, you've either got the choice of continuing what works or trying to do something to continue learning, continue growing. And that reminds me of buds. I wouldn't have expected anything
else. Always looking for that other 1%.
I know that. I think we both know that. That looked like a hot dab. I think for Growly, and I know that probably more than chat does. Do you have, just as a quick self shout out, do you have any of these videos that people can go and learn without having to call you for a consultation as you're dying over
I
there?
Probably have 100 hours of content filmed.
Well, then I think
0 hours edited.
Oh, how many videos do you have?
I post excuse me, Instagram. Like that's about it. I'd post a reel or something. Maybe 5 have made it out.
What about YouTube?
Nope.
It was a hot dab. I could tell, man.
That was
a Nice.
I'm scared of taking one after the edible.
My content was my live stream, right?
Well, this is advertising here as well.
So we'll get the live stream back up here soon. It's a mess right now. My garage is an absolute mess. So stuff that was supposed to be in the garage is migrated to the lung room, and I'm like walking over shit. So,
dude, it's a year later, and I'm still unpacking over here.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'll be a couple more years.
That's what people tell me. That's literally what people tell me. And I'm moving shit around. Like I got the cold room framed in where I want it, but now I have to take everything that was in that area and move it to another area of my house, and it just creates a lot of moving shit around. And and that, like you said, just the time. I do all.
That's why I did the 24/7. That's why I like the 24/7 live stream.
Sure.
Because I wasn't making content. I was just doing my gardening or washing my hash. And people would pop in and be like, oh, fuck, he's washing a hash. Ask questions. I'm right there. Video screen shows me chat. But if I'm not there, you could just watch the plants.
Well, I think you should do a little more if you have time, and then B, take advantage. And this goes for chat too. Take advantage of tagging people. Tag me. You can invite me to be a collabor. If I don't like it, I won't post it. But fishing, right? Not every cast is going to catch a fish.
Just need that one out of every 100, man.
Yeah. Yep. You post something good, and Low Temp posts it, or Rosin Evolution posts it, and then all of a sudden you're starting to get invited to collab posts.
I really need to make a post about my cold loop.
And honestly, I think
because that's $10K cheaper than anybody else has done it.
There you go. I honestly think that probably one of the best ways is to go to these events, and you got to put a sticker on your jar. Maybe even a really easy business card as to your Instagram, your YouTube, and got to hand them out. You can even go to the dispensaries or the processors there that have booths and hand your shit out.
Yeah. My biggest thing is that means I have to leave the UP, and I live in paradise. Why?
Well, and there's the other thing is not just that, but that's where the love and the commitment comes in, because it's going to be a lot of scratching where you ain't going to get shit.
No, I did really enjoy the events, and COVID killed that off for us. But I mean, we
almost wish I went to Champs this year. God damn it, Champs looks like it's lighting up a little bit again.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that. That's this week, right? Or this?
No, it was
last week.
Week or two ago. Yeah. Yeah, I saw I was surprised at how many people attended and how fun it looked. I haven't been to the Glass Vegas. That was one of the big ones for me for a while. Man, that was a fun show. Just a fun show. I remember going into rooms. One specifically, we got invited to a top floor suite. There was probably $200,000 to $400,000 worth of glass on the table, and people walking around with a tray of tabs. Everybody just licking their finger and doing tabs, little micro doses, if you will. But if you take 16 microdoses, and it was just a great time, man. There's so much rosin, so many people, so many different groups, from consumers to glass blowers to you got to get out to these events. I know it sucks. I know it's hard. I know all this planning, but you asked your question, so there's the answer.
Yeah, it's crazy up here right now where our snow is lasting so long that what I get less than maybe 5 months of buildable time outside. So, and that's also when all the good events happen. It's rough to ditch a weekend, but I do want to make a couple of good events this year.
Yeah, and then you have a kid and be single. and try to work that in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Along with your other responsibilities. I'm getting a pup. Finally made a decision. I put my Cocker Spaniel down. I've only ever owned Cocker Spaniels, so I put my last one down. I consider them daughters. They're family members. But I had to put her down about a year and a half ago now, and I just literally wasn't ready to get another dog. Not just because of all the time and commitment it's going to take, which was a very big factor, but I just, kind of like getting divorced. I just wasn't ready to jump into anything anymore like that soon. Right, there you go.
That could be made to happen.
There you go. Actually, yep. Just take what we just said and put it to use.
Oh, I love Hash Bash. I've been in.
I already got a booth, bro.
I'm guilty as I'm probably one of the most guilty ones here for not attending as many as I should for those reasons. But back to the segue of the puppy, getting another Cocker Spaniel, another girl. I like girls. Well, take that as you will. She's a purebred Cocker from a very reputable breeder in Colorado here. And I get to pick her up on, they wanted me to, it was kind of funny. Her date to be picked up is the 20th of March. And I was like, can I move it to the 23rd? Because that's my birthday. And I just kind of want to pick her up on my birthday. So it's going to be very tough with the 3 days out of town so far. But without going into details, I've got that covered, I think now. But yeah, little girl Cocker Spaniel named Lainey so far.
Nice.
The daughter's afraid of dogs. Luckily, I've always wanted and had small dogs, Cocker Spaniels, and she's excited, dude. She's super excited. She helped me pick her out, and she's gonna go pick her up with me. She's up in the Denver area, so we call it 5-hour drive.
Nice.
I'm stoked. I'm ready now. I'm stoked. It's going to be a hell of a lot of responsibility, and what's the other word I'm looking at for? Giving shit up to make it happen. Sacrifices.
Yeah. Did I show you the doghouse I built for our new pup?
Probably, but you know me and my memory.
Short-term memory loss, side effects of the medication.
So up on a deck
and seizures,
completely insulated underneath. Also, all the walls are insulated. It's not done yet in this photo.
How big are we? How big is the deck unit?
The deck was
6, 7 feet across.
It's 8 foot by 5 foot. The deck.
So what is the building part?
5
by 5.
I can bring up. Hold on. You're gonna make me do it. Now you're really gonna shit.
This is for how many breeds? And
this is one dog.
One dog. Okay. And what breed?
He's an Aussie.
Bigger dog. Fuck, I do all this on just paper.
Right.
Yeah, but now I can go.
Fun little fact. This is actually what I went to school for.
Really?
Drafting and then structural design.
So how much did that shit change since then? Oh my god.
Oh, dude. I mean, I was working on AutoCAD back in the day when I was doing all that, so I don't even know what programs are being used anymore. But I do this just on paper now. I know enough of it. I actually started going into mechanical engineering, and then I quickly found out that I was not smart enough to go through that, or at least didn't have the passion to go through the sacrifices.
That's fun.
So I ended up dropping down and just becoming a CAD drafter, which is actually, long story short, the job that I obtained after I went to school was the job that got me to Colorado.
That's cool. Oh, wait. I do have better photos where you can see.
Lone Dabber was a was on AutoCAD.
So fully insulated doghouse with tongue and groove interior.
Nice.
Hell yeah, that's
I
sexy interior.
Put nice little window. This window in the back here opens so that when the lake, it'll cross breeze and they'll vent it during the summer.
This is a doghouse.
That's a doghouse.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just his doghouse.
Does the dog stay outside, or is this just like okay?
Oh, no, that's just to put him outside. Every now and then. And he's got it right in front of it's the wildflower meadow. So
Nice. I don't think. I mean, a lot of people are getting tidbits of information as they go along, but I don't think they understand the scope of what you do and how busy you are. As you were saying, your time, it used to be this much X an hour. I don't think they fully understand why that is.
Because I run a very large business.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly it. Basically, as the rawness of it,
the work doesn't end just because you get so big.
You are one of the absolute top 2 owners of a company that we just alluded to, which is a very advanced screen printing. Did I say that right?
Whoa!
And what's the other word? What's the other word I'm trying to? What's the other word I'm trying to?
Very advanced digital, but
direct to order. How do you? Is that what it's called? Direct to order.
Direct to order.
Okay.
Yeah, we ship. We're drop shipper. We ship for a lot of websites.
And as long as I've known Buds, I just recently saw a very quick little flyby of his setup, and I had no idea the scope of it. It blew me away. So to hear you say that doesn't surprise me anymore.
But I mean, we have an amazing team. Our engineering team for the production facility is top tier. It's kind of funny, like even down to who I call our maintenance man. He's been with us for 15 years. It's just Manny, the maintenance man.
So what if somebody were to hit you up via email, via Instagram, via whatever, and say, all right, dude, I'll pay you the $650 an hour. Would you do it?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. I just don't have the time.
It's honest. That's what I love the honest.
No, I mean, realistically, like this week, I worked until 2:30 in the morning. I worked 5 o'clock. My son knows 5 o'clock means he can come up to daddy's office and play games.
There you go.
So he'll listen up and listen if I'm on the phone. Not on the phone. Can I come up? Yep, you can come up. He'll come up, hop on the other computer. He'll play games. I'll get another hour's work in till dinner. We'll go downstairs. We'll eat. Come up, play games a little bit more. Tubby time, whatever. Put him to bed. Time with the wife, and then she goes to bed, and then I'm 2-3 more hours of work.
Yeah,
and then right back to it in the morning.
That's what I'm trying to
juggling stuff. Like I had to shut the garden down for a while there because work got so insane.
Sure. And that's what I try to get my daughter to understand too. When I disappear, this is a perfect example. As much fun and enjoyment as I truly get out of this, it's work. For me, this is clocking in. This is part of advertising. This is part of spreading my knowledge. This is part of trying to let people know what I do and how good I guess I think I do it. I don't know. This is part of it right here. This is part of it. Making Instagram posts. It's all work, especially when, I have 2 businesses technically that I run. Well, technically 3, I guess. And it's random work. The work up at Eden is very structured, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, certain hours, but everything else, I'm at 10 o'clock at night, and to me, I consider this work. But it's a dream job, and I absolutely love even doing this. So it's very easy for me to do that. It's such a fucking dream job. I always try to at least once a day try to stop and smell the roses, if you will. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm driving to work, Hetty Boy and I do this all the time. We stop and, dude, look at that freaking sunrise, or look at the way the clouds are just moving over those mountains over there. Who the F gets to see this stuff? You know, so we always try to stop and be thankful and just doing what I do. How many people in the United States have my job?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
it's, you know, as much as I work, I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. I have that opportunity if I wanted to. If I was just like, I'm done. I could be, but I don't want to be. I want to more for others at this point.
Well, I would say if
you guys, you have convinced me. I love what we're doing, and I love this conversation. And you know what I also love is being on vacation. And I love you guys, but I'm going back to my vacation. Have a great night.
Where are you at? Do you want to tell everybody where you're at and what you're doing?
Somewhere nice and warm, 50 degrees warmer than Michigan. See ya.
Love you, brother. Be good.
Yep.
Love you too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be up too much longer either. Like I said, it was a very long week for myself. So
for sure. Well, we're kind of running. I don't say running out of things to talk to, but now that there's only 2 people on the panel, to keep the conversation going, chat, ask some questions, even random and whatnot. We can. There's so many variables. Like we had a, and I won't go into the details at all on this, but we had what I consider an emergency up at Eden earlier today, last night, and I had to go take care of it today. And there were so many learning points that came out of just that one, we'll call it mistake. Where was I going with that? I guess I don't remember where I was exactly going with that.
That's the best that's the best way to learn. Like I learn the best when I fuck things up.
I guess what I was getting at is even some of the small questions in the case of yesterday, the small details lead to so many variable conversations. You know, there's so many different avenues that you can walk down, even with a small little question, you know, because in what I do, the devil is in the details, man. And if you don't really love what you're doing and know how to grow and learn from your mistakes and your processes, I mean, the devil is in the fucking details. And sometimes those details can be extremely minute. And if you don't have the love to do it, it's just not going to translate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even in our facility, we've been doing this. I mean, my business partner's been doing it 15, almost 20 years now, I guess. I've been doing it 15 at this point.
Doing what specifically?
Printing apparel.
Oh, okay.
So knowing everything about printing ink on textiles and how it works and all the variables. Now that's the experience over the years has given us understanding of the variables and me being able to piece things together. And one of our most critical variables is humidity. And we had a very set plan, something we had discussed, put together. Again, my favorite little sensors, high precision sensors in the right location. We have misters. Everything was supposed to be perfect. And for some reason last week, it wasn't. For a day. Fighting banding, which is when you can see printer lines. It was a sensor placement issue. One small little variable that didn't get followed, or little detail didn't get followed exactly perfectly, shifted the variables enough to throw off the pattern.
Would you say that you love / enjoy doing that business as much as cannabis? And if not, which one do you like more?
I'm a techie at heart. I can solve way more problems in code than cannabis is fun, but cannabis is slow. Like I make 100 discoveries in a week sometimes, solving problems and making things happen and moving things forward. Cannabis, literally watching the grass grow, right? So
yeah,
I love bringing my technology into cannabis. I love the plant. I've grown so many different ways. I just love trying things, and I've
the variables.
Yeah, I get so like, and it's also expensive at the small scale too. So it gets pretty crazy. But I'm trying to think of how to say it.
I have a little bit of a problem with the fun.
Well, it's fun for some people. Automation's a blast for me. I love it.
I would say it depends on what you're doing. The scale, I guess, the fun in the scale.
My system can be scaled to any scale.
The point I'm getting at, I guess, is if you don't have the right, I'll say, owners from the top down.
Oh yeah,
when you start talking about commercial growing, it's very hard to convince owners and investors to do what we all consider is the right thing, simply because they don't love it as much as we do, and money starts becoming a bottom line. So there's a lot of
where automation actually shines.
Yes,
I can show ROI for every piece of equipment.
That's what's nice, because the expensive part, and I've done this before quite a few different times, even a $5,000-$10,000 purchase all in one, you really have to know how long before you're going to get that investment back.
You've got to calculate out the balance, and
whereas
run rate, and
whereas a home grow, you're the lover, you're making the decisions, you're the owner, if you will. So those decisions are a lot easier to make and maintain and carry out.
Well, there's also, like, probably half of my grow is unnecessarily over complex.
For sure.
Because I stream it. No, because I stream it.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have cords hanging anywhere. Every single cord is hidden. I don't have unnecessary pipelines hidden. Everything is even my PVC pipes, there's 4 runs and they are completely spaced, perfectly mounted using professional clamping. The reservoirs are sitting at a perfect angle so that they are exactly the right distance apart. I mean, it's all about angles and cameras and keeping shit hidden and clean. And there's a lot of extra stuff just in the stream.
I was going to say that's learning itself. It's just not dumbed down learning. People have to pay attention to exactly what the fuck you're doing.
Most of the cleanliness and the expense of that, people would never notice. But if I didn't do it, they would think I had a shitty grow.
Sure.
That's the difference. So it not being there, it's really, and it's not quite like a TV studio, but it almost is. Have you ever been to a TV studio and then you turn the other angle that the cameras don't see and you're like, holy fuck, this is a shithole.
Right.
Like, it's not quite that bad. But I mean, if you come at the other angle, you can really go, oh yeah. It looks very different from this angle. There's not as many, everything perfectly white and clean and crisp.
That's kind of why I like my style and the videos that I've made, going back and looking at them, because from the beginning they were kind of, it was just showing what I do, but most of it is obtainable by anyone, even if you're going to modify it a little bit. It's not all automated. It's dumbed down. it's meant for, I mean, it's kind of meant for people to learn, for people to get started. And it's my fault. I should have kept updating and going and whatnot. I shouldn't have taken as big of a break as I did with the YouTube. But
so the difference with mine is that I started very basic, and over the years I've made every little change. I talked to hundreds and hundreds of growers and heard every little trick in the book, and everyone's like, oh no, you got to do this. Before we had actual details, science, before people knew what the hell they were actually talking about, we were just trying random shit back in the day. As we started dialing stuff in, you're like, oh, if I do this, I notice that my yield is 10% bigger because I'm running from clone all the time back then. But if all of a sudden I'm like, well, but that to get that extra 10%, it's also costing me extra $50 a month. Well, does that actually matter? You know, like, is it, that's where my business side kicked in. I was able to identify that stuff early. So people will be like, no, you really need to be running microbes. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. When I run microbes, it adds these additional complications. And the benefit that I get is not enough to outweigh those. And so my goal has always been picking the things that cost me the least to run, take the least amount of time. You know, I don't want to sit there and fuck with my system every day. I want it to just run. I want to be able to take a 2-week vacation and not care. My plants are not even going to know.
That's what's nice about it. I mean, there's a lot of times when I have to set alarms on my phone to remember to go down and check the clones, check the this, check the that, you know, because I'm not automated.
And that's, and also striving for the quality, right? If I can do it, I'm always like, okay, I do this and yeah, it tastes a little better. I know I'm getting higher terpenes, but fuck, man, it took me 3 extra hours a day in the damn garden, or 3 hours a week even. You know,
that shit adds up. 1 + 1 + 1.
Yeah, it really does. And so for me, it's like, do I really need that extra 0.5% on my home? Like, no, I'm fine. Like, so get and exactly, it's the repeatability and setting it up for just, I know what I'm going to get. If I get good genetics and put it in my system, I'm going to get good smoke at the end. And I'm not going to have to fuck with it.
And see, the problem still exists that it's still such an evolving market that there's a lot of new equipment and trying to navigate what to buy.
Oh, and I bought every bad thing too. I buy into the bad shit. I buy into the marketing sometimes and go, oh my God, there goes $1,000 on something. Yeah, so I tell people, don't fucking spend your stupid money on this. It's dumb. Like, but if you want to spend your dumb money on it, go for it. Like, for me, I'm going to tell you why I don't want it, why I don't like it. If I love it, I'm going to love it. Like Jack's 321, I haven't changed in years. Green Genes turned me onto that way back when. And I've had no problem with it.
Sometimes there's a lot of trial and error too, especially if you don't have someone to go to ask these questions. And I'll be right back in literally 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. Yeah, there's a lot of snake oil salesmen in our industry. Unfortunately, you know, as much as there's a lot of us that have passion and want the industry to succeed and everyone to just be successful and everyone to have great smoke, there's a whole shitload of people out there that just want to abuse the community and fucking make a quick buck and run. That their whole goal is to just milk it as much as they can and get the fuck out. They don't give two shits.
I was listening to there. I kind of feel like the number of companies doing that has decreased, but it's still there.
Yeah. It's so funny, Red. I bought like 2 20-pound bags of the A and the B, and then we've eliminated the Epson, so it's just the A and the B plus then the most. But yeah, those bags last forever. I need another bag of B though, I believe.
What was this? I saw it not too long ago, and I didn't read too much in it, but I don't know, there's a replacement for Mammoth P, or there's a new product, or there's did you hear anything
I have
about
not.
this?
I stopped using Mammoth P a while ago and switched to Tribus.
Maybe somebody in chat will know a little bit more about it. I just read one post. I don't know if it's the same owners that ran Mammoth P, or if it's,
did Mammoth go away?
It's funny.
I remember something happening with them, but I don't remember what.
I went to work. I still have my Mammoth P hats just because they're old. They're memorable type things. I used to know one of the salesmen, become a really good friend. But no, I don't know. I didn't look into it as much. I was kind of hoping just to start a conversation, hoping somebody in chat would know about it. But to the best of my knowledge, they went away, and they either made a new product or there's a company that has then replaced them. Not that I fuck with Mammoth P at all anymore, but like haven't for holy shit, I don't know how many years.
Oh my gosh. Grateful. I would have to look at my board, to be honest.
Define those that don't know.
So most is the mix of soluble traces. It's all your trace elements, and it does not take much.
How do people know what their trace elements are?
What do you mean?
How does
cannabis only needs certain trace elements, and so it's all of the elements that the plant needs. Somebody
that's rebuilding soil, how do they verify the levels of these things?
This isn't for soil. This is for reservoirs.
Okay.
This is a hydroponic.
That's probably a lot of where.
Yeah, this is a hydroponic nutrient.
So I have never, ever grown in anything but soil.
Just imagine that it's the water with absolutely every nutrient that the plant can want to uptake. And so when it does the cation exchange, it's going to have access to anything that it asks for.
Gotcha.
It's all right there next to every single root hair that's on the plant. Yep.
I've just always literally and openly and bluntly been not against, but have never participated in anything other than organic living soil. To me,
I would never bring organic.
It's just the fucking way a plant was meant to grow, to me,
Yeah. See, I
there's a lot more control that you can do in hydroponics and whatnot. Whereas in organics, you kind of let things
what it wants.
This
isn't about what you can get to the plant, which soil, you're limited by what it can give to the plant. I can give the plant 100% of everything that it wants.
Why would you say that you would never bring organics indoors?
It's dirty.
That's it.
Yeah, it comes with bugs inherently.
Yep. Well, a lot of times I'm buying and adding bugs purposely.
Right, and that's a indoors.
A lot of times those are
clean.
A lot of times those are my pesticides.
Yeah, it eliminates what I consider as clean.
Okay.
I'm much, much cleaner. And then my gardens outside, I take my organics to a whole other level though. Whereas I don't bring anything from outside my farm into my organics.
Let's walk down the road of if someone, and they probably have, who knows, everybody's got opinions. If someone was to prove to you that organics is by far better indoors than hydroponics, blah, 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 blah. If
then
someone were to,
every single study I've read.
I'm just walking down this road, assumedly. Let's assume that we proved it. Would that be convincing?
Science.
Would that be convincing enough for you to bring it indoors, or is it still too dirty? No, still too dirty.
Yeah.
And dude, I can't disagree because my rooms, when I flip my rooms,
you also have to remember, Pedro,
it gets dirty, dude.
I live in a log home. I can't bring bugs in my house.
Okay.
That is like the worst thing you can do.
I don't know whether the bugs that I use would go anywhere else.
You're creating the perfect environment for anything.
Yep, you really are. Yeah, so you're gonna have bugs, and you need bugs to fight those bugs.
Yeah, and that's not
because I don't spray my plants. And very rarely.
Yeah. No, I don't spray. I don't have to. Because I don't have anything. I don't have good or bad bugs.
So is that if you were talking to someone who's on the fence of going which way, is that the only negative that you would give them, so to speak?
For new growers, I always recommend soil. I just recommend soil in a fabric pot for new growers. Soil is more forgiving. Soil's going to do some of the work for you.
Is this naked and alone?
No, just alone.
I kind of like this question. That's the one where it's basically like Survivor, but you're with nobody.
Right. They drop in the middle of nowhere, Canada.
Would I win? Probably not, honestly. Do I have the skills? Probably most of them, but I underestimate myself. So that would be fucking hard. It would probably be an experience of a lifetime, probably very humbling.
That show's humbled a lot of people.
I've went out with Tanazi, just him and I, doing some backpack hunting. You go back, and when it's night, you set up your camp and sleep, and in the morning you fucking carry on. You go back fucking 15, 20 miles sometimes. So I'm very proficient with like taking care of a lot of things, you know. But it's tough, man. There's so many variables. That's a totally different topic than the growing part of it, but I did like the question. Yeah. Man, that's tough, dude.
I'm gonna have to go.
You gotta go?
Yeah, I'm about a half hour past. I am exhausted. So
okay.
I gotta take off for the night, guys. But it was great. Great seeing everyone. Great talking to everybody. Cheers, everybody.
I'll stay for 5 more minutes and see if anybody's got any interesting questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna dip too.
All right.
Be good, brother.
Have a good one.
You as well. All right. So yeah, I'll stay for 5 more minutes or so, and we'll see if anybody's got any questions. Maybe stay for, so I'm drinking a glass of wine. Maybe stay for more if people have some good questions. I think this is literally the only time they've left me on the show, or that I've agreed to stay on the show longer than they have. It's really hard to I haven't ran a show. I don't know if I've done much of podcast by myself. It was always Dizzy and I. And so having somebody else live with you to pop ideas and questions and stuff off of and take up the downtime is it's tough, man. But definitely for the people that didn't hear it earlier in the show, Hash Church, BC Bubble Man, I think I shared it on my story earlier today. Going to be on Hash Church this Sunday. It's 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock my time, which is Mountain Standard Time. 4-hour show. A lot of freaking hash and rosin processors and artists and very educated people in the hash and rosin scene. And, there can always be a flop, but I have a feeling this is going to be an excellent episode. So, pull out your phone, set yourself an alarm, 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And I would highly recommend being on there, man. I think those 4-hour shows get into some deep conversation. What's this one? I love how you keep it low tech. And I think the biggest reason that I do that is because it's easy for me. I understand it. It doesn't take a lot of time to me, and it's more easily repeatable, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's also something that can be taught to like the home grower. I've always kind of catered towards the home grower where you yourself, one other person would be great, but where you yourself can do it yourself. You know, I've always wanted to teach that this isn't unobtainable, you know. And even if you don't have the fucking cold room, or you don't have the nice washers, or you don't have that, you can always do a consultation with me where I will understand what you have going on. There's a lot of questions that I ask as well, and I will answer the questions catered to what you have going on. If you don't have a cold room, I'll try to give you the best ways around it. If you don't have a good washer, I'll try to give the ways around it. If, you know, I always try to make sure that's literally where I started, was to try to make sure that the home grower, the entry level home grower, had enough information to produce, you know, at least something comparable to what you'll get in a dispensary. And if you love it and pay attention to the smallest fucking details, you can be really fucking good. There's a lot of people that make a lot of fucking good rosin, hash and rosin, that aren't known just because they don't advertise and put themselves out there. And maybe that's their choice. They don't care. They just want to make the best medicine that they can, which was actually the reason that I started this whole freaking journey, was Dizzy, trying to get her the strongest and cleanest medicine possible. And I've been very open and honest with that. So yeah, even the smallest grower can produce these meds, can produce this rosin, with what they have. Fuck, I used to, one of the first runs I ever made of bubble hash, I think I did it in my shower, in my bathroom. Obviously not the most ideal place at all. Ran into a lot of problems, but I was so early on in the process that maybe I just didn't search for it enough, but there wasn't a lot of videos that were explaining everything from start to finish. So, you know, I learned from Frenchie and ran into a problem. And fucking, why do I got hash all over the fucking place? Well, it's warm in my bathroom. I need to make it cold. You know, why am I getting dirty hash on my first pull? Well, I fucking probably beat it up too much. Maybe I'm using ice and I don't need to be using ice. You know, you start picking up these little tidbits of information and you can make it better yourself. But the one thing that I've always kind of wanted to say, and I don't know that I've ever really said it and underlined it as much as I should, is that you don't need all of the equipment that I suggest. There's ways around most things that I suggest, and don't be afraid to reach out, and we can do a little 50-minute call, a 30-minute call, half-hour call. And I always suggest that you come with pre-written, pre-thought questions, and we just busted through it, man. Half an hour with me, busting out questions and answering them, is way more. You get way more information. We can cover a lot of information in an hour. Let's go back up here and look at chat real quick. Ben lurking, vacuum chamber, vacuum and dry ice. Yeah, there's a lot of air drying techniques. Shaking a bag with dry ice, dude. One of the big funniest ones that I remember, Lemon, is when MedFit and I took the sliding. We had a glass sliding back door at my old place. We took the sliding glass door down because it was a huge sheet of glass, and we did dry sift over the glass door. And I believe in that. I believe I pressed it. I don't recall anymore. But those were learning days for me. Once I got the product that I got at the end, it's like, okay, what could have I done better? What problems did I run into, and what can I do better? Here we go. Scroll back up here in chat. Spring back, dude. The live stream. I opened up Streamlabs OBS the other day, and of course with the seizures and whatnot, more memories than a lot of you understand have just been wiped. So I went back and I saw like a lot of the whatever shows and a lot of the different posts and different live streams that I had. It kind of made me want to try to find time to do more of that. What is this one here? Any tips for home hash washers without money for a freeze dryer? The pizza box method. So I wonder, I don't know if Jen Doe has any exterior consultations on that. I would hit her up and ask her. I think it's Jen Doe 420. I think she may have actually lost her account again, but she's going to be on Hash Church, so hopefully we can get a link to where she's at. She's an air dry fucking master. I've tried air drying sometimes, and I just don't get the result that I'm after, probably because I'm not good enough at it. I bought a freeze dryer right away because I knew that was going to be, I follow the buy once, cry once. So I'll just go out and spend the $3,000-$4,000 and do what I believe is the right way to making sure your hash is dry. But yeah, cold room, 60-50 or 60-60 temperature, humidity. When you pull your hash, your wet hash, what I would do if I was walking through this is you take your hash, let's call it a pancake, right? Freeze it, and while it's still frozen, you've got to use like a cheese grater, for lack of a better tool, and you've got to microplane it over a large area and let it sit in the dark in a very, as much as you can, controlled environment. Check it, monitor it. If it were me, I'd probably grab some hash and smoke it to determine whether it was dry. And then from there, then you can move on to sticking that in the freezer and move on to pressing it. So good question. Where the fuck was that at? Yeah, the dry ice days and stuff. Yeah, the times, again, those were just learning things, and I did have Frenchie to go off of, which I still use a lot of his information, but some of it has changed over the day for sure. Yeah, dude, the round table I miss more than anything. And then I went back and I looked at the whatever show. That was freaking awesome. And then there were a couple other streams that Dizzy and I did, which is a bummer because I'm assuming most of you know, we got divorced about almost exactly a year ago right now. So there was some cool shit that we did. There was some definitely cool shit. I remember, who the hell was it? Evan, I don't know if you're still in here, was saying that he was going to use one of my special award things that he got over here. And I fucking forgot about making those things. So, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. It was a tough situation. We're amicable. We communicate. We haven't done anything as far as cannabis related since. I don't know whether or not that'll come, but yeah, we're amicable and raising a daughter, and but we're no longer doing what we used to do. Trying to look through chat here. Yeah, the dry sip was being pressed, I believe. Yeah, we were talking about, I was trying to find the video. I thought I had posted it. Maybe it was on my old Pedro's Grow Room account. But how many of you remember when I was in the shed, dirty ass shed, in my backyard, no temperature control whatsoever, pressing with the what the fuck would you even call that? Press, lever operated press. I don't even know what you'd call it. I actually broke that fucking thing. That was interesting. I think I did that on video too. I remember you drinking microbes or EM1 and then throwing it around to prove it won't kill microbes. I don't remember throwing it around, but a lot of people still drink EM1. And what's the new one? Eric did Holy Cow, but there's another one that stepped down from that. Fucking can't remember the name of it. I use it all the time. A lot of people drink that shit just for getting the microbes in their system, I guess. Love learning, thinking of dry sifting on the next harvest or rubble bag it. Dude, hit me up. We can literally go through a half an hour and probably, this is Bob. We can literally go through a half an hour session and probably get you the questions that are looming in your head, and get you to probably eliminate at least some of the problems that you would run into on the first run. Microplaner is what it's called. Rip Frenchie. Yeah, dude. So I still have, I think I've showed you guys before, I still have a jar of Frenchie's hash. I don't recall where I got this, but I got a jar from Frenchie. God, I wish I'd have put a year on this. 6 or so years before this, but I mean, I had been making hash in the same ish way as Frenchie since '99. But he was honestly like the mentor that I had. I'm going to try to warm this up. By the way, if you ever pull hash or rosin out of a refrigerator, always kind of hold it, warm it up a little bit. What you don't want is, as you can feel when you pull something cold into a warm room, it condenses, get a little moisture on the outside. It'll do that on the inside as well, which will contaminate the hash or rosin that's in the jar, could introduce moisture and could mold. So now that I got this cooled down a little bit, can I even open this fucking thing? It hasn't been open for so goddamn long. Oh, there it goes. So it says, let's see if we can read it here. Frenchie, very special old press. And there is just a little, I don't want to spill this. There is just a little bit of hash on the bottom of this that Frenchie himself fucking made. And at this point in time, I do care about the quality of it, but I at the same time don't, because I never have plans on smoking that. That is just a super heartfelt piece of memorabilia that I have. Just learned tonight. What'd you just learn, Robert? Super bum when you heard. What did I miss? Don't be afraid to ask it again. Any budget freeze jars available? Probably, but I've always followed the buy once, cry once. Just spend the extra money to buy the best one. T-shirt press. What about the T-shirt press? I draw like I'm missing questions. It's like owning a piece of art. Yeah, it is just like owning a piece of art. I would agree with you 100%. That jar means probably more to me than I can express. Oh, you just learned about me and Dizzy? Yeah, it was shitty. But I'm good. She's doing good. Daughter's even better. Obviously she knows, but we're so amicable that yeah, it's pretty easy on the daughter. That was one of the most important things to me because I went through parents getting divorced when I was young, and I just don't want her to go through anything that I experienced. So I try to live and learn, right? Apply what you learned as you have grown up and matured, and yeah, so I just try to make sure that it's better than what I went through, nonetheless, or at least, right? Fuck, I bought a house, way too expensive of a house because of the market, but I bought a house out of the mess. So there's always is tough to hang your hat on, but there's generally always positive things that come out of shitty situations. If you fucking look for them. I think that was my post was it today? Yesterday? I don't remember. Any other questions here before I go? I think I'm at the bottom of chat. Best Value X has a freeze dryer. If I remember correctly, Best Value X was one of my first presses. God, I'm trying to remember back. They were one of my. I went to the Indo Expo and hooked up with them. I could be completely wrong, but kind of reminds me of one of my first. Thanks, staying back for chat. Yeah, dude. I when I was talking to Buds before the show, we were questioning whether or not, well, number one, whether or not we were going to have for Growly, and if it was just going to be Buds and I with no guest. I was like, man, let's bring chat. Let's involve chat. Let's have them ask questions, and even the smallest question can lead into a huge conversation because of the number of variables. It was funny. I was watching I think it was a Joe Rogan. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. But they were talking about, they mentioned variables like 10 fucking times. And I want to I want to try to collect those things where people mention variables and like try to put together some kind of a compilation, if you will. No, I did not have a low temp at first. I want to say it was Best Value Vax, and then maybe straight to low temp. I don't recall anymore, honestly. Round table days, dude, I miss the round table. There has been discussion because certain individuals are becoming more open in the community again for personal reasons. We've talked about it. It may not be, if we do it, it may not be every week, number one, and there's most likely going to be panelists missing from the original roundtable. But how fucking cool would that be, dude? How fucking cool would that be? Even if we just had one long one, it would be so ridiculously awesome. Yeah, I think Dago's back in. I think he's posting things again. I don't know whether or not they're cannabis related, but I think it's on YouTube. But like I said, I also want to go back and watch that video that I did with Jeremy. Number two, I'd also wish I'd fucking posted that on my page as well as Jeremy's. I just didn't know it was going to go as viral as it did. But yeah, I really want to watch that video again, and maybe some other videos as well, and just critique it. Not do it live because I get caught up in reading all the live chat comments. But there were a lot of things that I could update, and I've looked back at whether or not giving out all of that free information was a great, this is going to sound like a horrible at first, but I wonder whether or not it was the best idea. I'll be blunt and fucking honest, just because I think that probably ultimately took a lot of money, not out of my own pocket, but also other people's pockets that could have got paid consultation fees for that. Number one, at the time, I had no idea how big it was going to be. And number two, that was who I was. That was what I was doing everything for. I was teaching people. I wasn't getting paid at all for doing shit like that. I started getting products, lights, fans, exhausts, controllers, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, for doing all that stuff, I didn't get paid for it. I even had a problem putting $50 half an hour on my consultation fees. I don't want to rape people in this industry. There's so many people that tell me that I could be making so much more money by taking advantage of some of these things that I just don't feel right taking advantage of. Maybe taking advantage might be a little harsh of words to use, but What songs do you listen to while working in the garden? Dude, I really like putting on some kind of a random. I like going to Spotify and typing in random playlist from all genres, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll just skip if I don't like to. But it keeps it changing, keeps the genre, keeps the mood changing in the room, One point in time, you'd be like, oh, I fucking love the Eagles. And you're like, oh, shit, it's Skrillex. And, oh, shit, it's fucking Michael Jackson, songs, lots of others. I'll put the information out for free. Dude, there's a couple people in the industry that I've seen recently, and I think we've even had them on the show here, that charges up to like $350 or so an hour. It's a little rapish, I think, but I think it's the art of putting something out for free and leaving some for the paid customers. Yeah. Well, there's a lot. Things have changed since that video, for sure. But that's just kind of, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. Maybe I am, but that's just kind of who I am and who I always have fucking been. Blunt, honest, sometimes an asshole. Straight to the fucking point. Straight to the point. So, dude, I still have this fucking light. It's still in great shape. I still have all the cords. I still have everything. I want so bad to do another run in like probably could cover a 3x3. Remind me, send me a fucking message, please. Go to my Instagram and send me a message. I need to do that. That light, that was a pinch my nipple period as well, because I looked up to fucking Grill Mouse a lot. And when he did that for me, dude, that was one of like the most special fucking things. One of the most special things. Well, here we are, 11 o'clock, just a little bit after. If you don't type in another fucking valid question in the next 30, 45 seconds, I will probably dip out of here. But I guess on the last note, I'll just go back to the roundtable. If you guys want to see the roundtable again, you need to request it. You need to go to and message the people that were on the roundtable and just let them know your desire, because putting it in here won't reach them. It won't reach the people that it needs to. So you need to specifically desire or verbalize your interest in getting it back together. And hopefully after the, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50th time messaging them and getting that message, I'm fucking in. I will absolutely fucking commit. But what are my hopes for Sunday's Hash Church? Number one, that I get a chance to talk, because there's a lot of fucking good panelists on there. And I guess I just hope that everybody gets along, listen without being defensive, speak without being offensive. It's one of my fucking favorite lines. But I hope we can get into some not violent, and that's not the word that I want to use, arguments. Like, I really want to get into some really good arguments that brings out some really good information. I really want it to be an intense show. And 4 hours is a long time, but I think it's, with the amount of panelists that I think there's going to be, I think it's kind of needed. So you, Envy, and Groma would be cool to see again. Dude, Envy stopped at my house, my old house, almost a year and a half ago now. Ridiculously cool to see him again, man. What else? I think that's about it. Go to my story on Instagram, mr.rosins.neighborhood. You'll see the link to Bubbleman's YouTube channel, and the show, the Hash Church, is on from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and it will be posted as well after the show. But dude, just if you can, don't miss that episode. No, just don't miss that episode. Yeah, non-confrontational. I hope nobody gets butthurt or offended, because I like to be blunt, honest, to the point, but I hate it when somebody gets offended about it, so we'll see what happens. I guess that's my hopes. I am like blushing surprised that I got invited to be on Hash Church again. I think this is my second, maybe my third time. And every time I do, it's like, really, me? Like, I'm going to get invited on that panel? Like, ridiculously cool. But anyways, 11:05, I talked a lot. Hopefully we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Tell a friend. Let's get these viewers up a little more. I've seen we've been hanging in the 50s and 60s. And you can always leave comments and chats as to ideas on what you want to see in the future, or even guests that you want to see us bring on and an interview and whatnot. So love you guys. Hope to see most of you on Sunday, and I'm out. Be good.